Right, welcome to another episode of Moments with Nyengeterai. I just want to say thank you to all the subscribers. Thank you to those who are following our podcast, those who have been sharing the comments. Oh, thank you so much for the comments. Thank you for everything that you get, the feedback, and the feedback really helps us to improve the show, and for us to be able to bring the people that you want to hear from, whose life stories you want to learn from, And today I'm so excited that one of the people that some of you have been inboxing me and asking you'd love to know more about him is right here. Pastor G, welcome.
Hey Nyenge, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here with me.
What a pleasure to be here. I love it when I'm on set with people who are groundbreaking, and I must say, Moments with Nyenge is quite groundbreaking. And inspirational, reflective, and quite a breath of fresh air within the digital media space, where you get people who can speak into your life, and also you can learn from coming on your show. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity just to be here, to be able to sit in the presence of greatness such as yours.
Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much. You don't know how much I'm just so excited just to have you, besides the fact that I listen to your music. And the amount of people who've just been wanting to know more and saying, can you bring Pastor G? We want to talk. We want to know more about him. And And I was just so excited. I was laughing. I was saying to my husband, I can't believe, that people want, it's almost like I'm aligned to the people who are watching, because I'll be like, okay, well, on our list, I want this person. And people then send us messages and say, right. And we have Pastor G. So besides, we know Pastor G, the artist. Who is Pastor G?
Who is Pastor G? Pastor G's government name is Standing Gwanizasha Gwanzura. I was born in Lusaka in the year 1970. So I'm slightly almost 53 on the 16th of November. And so Standing Gwanzura is a human being. I'm not a superhuman. I grew up in a family. I've got 5 sisters, 2 brothers. One is late, and so I basically grew up in Zambia. Came here 1980 at independence. My parents were in Zambia during the war, and I went to primary school at Hague Park Primary. Then Ellis Robbins from Form 1 to Upper 6. Then I worked a little bit in the engineering space as a training manager for fuel technical sales. Then went to theological college to study for my theological degree when I accepted the call to serve God in the ministry. Pastored a couple of years at Calvary Baptist Church. And now I'm a full-time musician.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Jeez, I've got so many things to unpack just from that intro.
Yeah.
First of all, engineering, then pastor.
I was an engineer as such, but I was working
in that space.
That space, yeah.
Okay, let's just say moving from commercial, like a commercial space, to becoming a pastor. How? What? I mean, when someone says, I mean, I understand when you say the calling, but when you say calling, what do you mean? Like, I'm working in the commercial and now I'm going to become a pastor. What happened? What?
Yeah, I had, number one, I think the DNA, what people call a calling, has to do with several things. I think number one, it has to do with a God sense of assignment, that God has given me what I'm supposed to be doing. This is God has spoken to me. And God speaks differently. He may speak through a scripture. He may speak through other people. He may speak through a strong spiritual conviction within your heart. And so the first port of call for me is that I felt God telling me this is what I needed to do. Number two, other people also spoke to me and spoke into my life about, the fact that, they believe that I was supposed to be in that space working with young people, especially. Then thirdly, also my natural skills also, and My natural skills, I was a good public speaker, very, very engaging, but also spiritual gifts coming from God, an exhorter, I had a good understanding of the word, a good intuitive spirit for counseling and being able to help other people understand God's destiny for their life. So it was a mixture of a number of things. Yeah.
And how old were you at this time when?
At that time, I was 21.
At that age, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 21.
Uh-huh.
I was a trainee manager for an engineering firm called Field Technical Sales, which was then the part of the hunting group, which owned field mowers as well as field aircraft or hunting aircraft, and Field Technical Sales, which dealt with engineering supplies such as abrasives, bearings, and other hydraulic equipment. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, wow. And then when you went to practice, how many years was that, and how many years did you pastor?
I was at Bible school for 3 years at the Theological College of Zimbabwe. Then I pastored. After that, I did another 7 years pastoring, number one, starting off as a youth pastor, but then pastoring the church at Calvary Baptist Church in Melbourne. Then within that period of time, I developed a huge interest in two areas. That is the media and also music, And those two passions begin to outweigh my desire to work within a local church. And instead, I felt the need to be, a pastor at large, whilst pursuing music, whilst also pursuing media space. And for over 14 years, I presented a radio show on the then Radio 3 Into Power FM called Inspirations, Beat with a Message, initially with Uncle Pash. But then on my own, I presented that on and off within those 14 years for ZBC. Did an inspiration gospel program on Sunday evenings. But also within the process of that period of time, I also, up to now, I've released 14 albums. Also got into the space of media consultancy where I do advertising jingles, produce adverts for NGOs, for even companies and so forth. Yeah.
Wow. For me, when I first knew about you, it was the music. It was the music. I would listen and just like get right to my soul. And I think I even one time reached out to you some years and I'm like, I'm trying to get the CD. I can't get hold of it.
Yeah.
So I want to understand that when you moved away from being a pastor full-time into music, what drove you and how has music changed your life, like gospel music?
I think the main thing, the main crux of the matter is a relationship with the living God. For me, my relationship with Jesus Christ is everything. And so if you're asking me what drove me, it's that relationship. When you are sensitive to who God is and what he wants and what he wants you to do, nothing on this earth will stop you. Just like nothing will stop Nyenge from being a media personality, being an inspirational speaker, being a change catalyst for women and even beyond globally. That's you. When I look at you, that's what I see, a catalyst.
Oh, thank you. I receive
a media catalyst. I see somebody who has a message for this world. Not just a message, but somebody who has a high impact, not just from what you do on a set like this, but just from your life, your reflections. You are an author, you are a speaker, you are an event planner. I mean, I knew you way before this space. I knew you being an event planner, being a marketing, guru, and so, when God gives you that kind of assignment, nothing can stop you. Even car crashes, loss of loved ones, nothing will stop you. Whether you do it, whether you are broke or whether you're making money from it, because something stronger than you is driving you. Yeah. Something bigger. I believe that all of us on this planet have been given an assignment that is larger than us. No matter how small or insignificant it looks. And so for me, that relationship with God has given me perspective. Wow. It's given me purpose. It's given me, a sense of precision. And by precision, I mean being exact in terms of what I want to do. It's given me, it's given me a sense of purpose. I live a purpose-driven life. I don't just do things for the sake of doing them. And I don't do music for popularity. I don't do music for the views, the likes. I do gospel music simply because there's an eternal message that is in gospel music that seeks to inspire, that speaks to exhort, that speaks to evangelize, that seeks to change people's destiny and draw them closer to God. So for me, that relationship with God is what drove me more than anything. Yeah.
And how do you, I when I'm doing my prayer time, I use the music, I listen to it. And I'll be sitting, I'm thinking, I always think about it.
Yeah.
How do people write music? How do you get to, what is it? What happens? Do you go and close yourself up so you can write songs? How do you write songs? How do you write these beautiful songs?
I think the process of birthing a song is a multifaceted process. There's no monolithic or linear method that you can say, I sit down and just words come into my head. No. A lot of times, you get an idea and you get the whole idea. I remember I wrote a song called Igwe in 2018. I was walking to Pick and Pay Westgate. The moment I walked into Pick and Pay, I started singing the chorus. By the time I got the counter, I had the first verse and the whole grand scheme of the song. Invited a friend of mine, Dr. Comfort Manyame, and we kind of like wordsmithed it together. He wrote the second verse and we kind of like put it together. And that was the process for that song. Indestructible.
My favorite.
Indestructible. I got the idea of Indestructible when I was in Nairobi, Kenya. And I was working on the album that is before Indestructible called Inspiration. The album that has Mandipa, Better Man, and all those songs. And I remember I got the idea for the album, for the song Indestructible from that. And it was a sermon. Then it got kind of solidified when my pastor, then Bishop Tudor Bismarck, preached on the I ams of God, I am blessed, I am favored.
Yeah, that's
Then I said I am indestructible, and it came out of 2 Corinthians. I think it's chapter 4, if I'm not mistaken. Though crushed down, I'm not destroyed. So therefore, I'm indestructible, because we have this treasure in earthen vessels to show that the all-surpassing power is not from us, but is from Christ. And so that's how that song came about. So got the idea, went to Andrew Bed. Actually, that's the most expensive song I've ever done. I paid, I think, $1,000 to record just that one song with Andrew in Joburg, 2011. We started working on it. 2012, we released the full album with the other songs. But that particular song, then Andrew helped me just wordsmith it, bring it together. Sharon Manyika did part of the BV. So it's a whole process sometimes. And sometimes it is just so easy to just write a song, and it just comes naturally within your spirit and it drops. Sometimes a producer will give you an instrumental, like my last album, Hope Reloaded, which I released beginning of this year. There's a song that is actually playing right now called Macomborero. Yeah. And that particular song, a friend of mine, Wayne Beats, gave me an instrumental, says, try this instrumental. I went home, wrote all the lyrics, then came back, recorded the song. So it's multifaceted. It's not one thing. Sometimes God will drop words in your spirit in a time of prayer, and you start singing a line. and you develop that line. And as time goes, like the song Mandipa was dropped in my spirit years before I actually did the song. Then when I went to Kenya in 2006 to record an album for African Rhythms of Worship with some friends of mine, Brian Kabgoro and all those guys, were doing a Pan-African album of Christians, like from 5 countries. And, and Mandipa, the idea for Mandipa got solidified there. I recorded it with Aaron Rimbui, Crucial Keys, who's now the music director for Tiwa Savage. And that's how it came about, so it's multifaceted.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, you've now got 14 albums, right?
14 albums, yeah. Releasing a 15th one, maybe beginning of the year, into March, yeah.
I just want you to tell me, each one, I'm sure each one has a story. I know now Indestructible. I now know the story because I love that. I mean, for me, when I'm at my lowest, it's one of those songs that is on repeat. I think my kids like look at me like a mom, it just gives me that
that lift,
the lift that I need just when I'm at my lowest. If I just play that, somehow it kicks in,
Yeah.
So can you tell me how you've birthed, like from album 1 to the one that's coming next year? The idea, the birthing process, or what God has dropped in your spirit for you to come up with this?
Album number 1 was the year, apart from the albums that I did with Tidings of Love, the group I used to sing with, I think I want to mention those. I did those. But album number 1, Pastor G album number 1 was 2001, called Tariro. And that album I wrote at a very difficult period in my life when I was going through some very challenging experiences in my life, with church politics and all sorts of things, and I had to brave that situation. And out of that particular album came out a song called Tariro, which talked about hope, and several other songs like Mend of Broken Hearts, Macomborero, another song called Macomborero. I've got many Macomboreros. So that album number 1 was in that space. Album number 2 was I just left Tidings of Love. The group had disbanded. That was the year 2002. So I got together with Dilani Makalima and we did a couple of tracks. Chivilika, Amen, Hallelujah. So with that album, I was very pointed. I wanted to do an album that reaches young people. That was very street. So that album was called Freedom Rugare, Reflections of a Street Preacher. It was a street album. It had songs like Walk Alone, Man, I don't feel like doing this all alone. Step aside, won't you drop those beats right now? So it was really hip. And I think the next 3 albums, which were in the Street Preacher trilogy, were around just reaching young people. So I was very, very conscious and very intentional with those 3 albums. Inspiration, which had Mandipa and all those songs, was really in a space where I was kind of like moving from just doing music for young people, but doing music for the body of Christ. And so I was a man betwixt. So that's why you have mature songs like Mandipa, which is really a jazz, kind of like a standard Afro jazz vibe. And you've got songs like Inspiration, Inspiration, by the way, I'd written it. I'd written the song, I will fly, I will soar like an eagle on the way, with the intention of actually selling it to a telephone company, which had the tagline inspired to change your world. And I was in the air. So I said, I want to get in with these guys and see if I can become a brand ambassador, blah, blah, blah. So I wrote that song in the morning. I don't ever have to fear. He will give me all the strength I need. So I will fly. I will soar like an eagle on the wings of inspiration. So that was the idea. And lo and behold, I tried to get through some executives. They won't mention their names. But you know how us Africans are like. Didn't get the idea, didn't get the memo. This was something huge, but what's this Pastor G doing? So that was the memo for Inspiration, the album Inspiration. I was trying to do a mature sound. So most of the songs sounded very mature. Of course, I had Better Man, which was an R&B track. I wanna be a real.
That's such a beautiful song.
I want to do a song targeted at men.
Men.
You know, the whole issue of fidelity, the whole issue of being responsible, faithful, not just sexual. You know, because we're living at a time when the AIDS pandemic was really high, and that was around 2006, primarily. It was kind of like dying down with the coming of ARVs and all that. But at the same time, you know, promiscuity was high. And I wanted to do a song that says, listen, we can be faithful, can be responsible, and it's okay. It's cool. You can be a cool man and still be a one-woman man. Like Dave Hollister said, I want to be a one-woman man, you know, that kind of thing. So, you know, that's inspiration. Indestructible, of course, came. Again, I'd now moved fully into that mature space, you know, where I was doing songs that were really vertical and horizontal. Unstoppable came, which had songs like Unstoppable, Up, Unstoppable, that one there, yeah. And then it had some hymn standards there. Then Legacy 1610, which had Imi Ndimi, you know, which had also Andikusiye, was also, you know. So I pretty much went into the mature space after that. And then each album after that, Victory 1911, was really songs that came into my spirit. Some came as a matter of concept. Till now, Hope Reloaded, which is my latest album, with Marima Kanaka, which was the hit track from that, and now Makomborero, which is in rotation on radio now. Yeah. So each album has a story.
Has a story.
Yeah.
And for me, what really excites me is the way that you're able to move from music for the young, R&B, the hymns, and you know, it's very nice that you're able to just transcend different what you call generations, and speak to different people with your music. But going forward, what is Pastor G, the brand, thinking and going into now?
Pastor G, the brand is pivoting in a number of areas. I'm pivoting more to the audio-visual stage of my career, where I'm getting into television. I've got 2 projects that I'm working on. One is a show called Transformation on Mainstream TV station for Transformations with Pastor G, which is more or less talking to people with stories of transformation, because I've been going through a transformational journey of weight loss. And then the second program is a reality show based on my weight loss, you know, where people will be following me in my everyday life, just documenting what I do for life as I journey on to my goal weight. Yeah.
That's the next question that I actually want to get to. What motivated you? And I've watched as well. I've watched. I follow you on social media, and I've been watching, and I've been seeing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know. So what motivated you first to want to go on this wellness journey, and what has kept you going? Because I know how it is, you know, no matter what it is, whether you're trying to lose weight, whether you're trying to start a new thing, sometimes you just feel like giving up. You don't want to get up and do it.
Yeah.
Take me through that journey.
I think 2020 was a pivotal year for me. I think that's the year the whole world was plunged into COVID. And with the advent of COVID-19 and the pandemic, came a realization that we need to take better care of ourselves, health-wise. I remember going to the hospital and seeing my dad. I drove my dad to the hospital. He had a stroke. He was walking. But within 2 weeks of that, he was gone. 7 July 2020, gone. Yeah, I remember seeing him the day before he died, and he was breathing heavily, couldn't talk, was just going, and the next day we get a phone call, come to the hospital, your dad is worse, only to be put in a room to be told he's gone. Looking at him sitting on that, lying on that bed, motionless. This is a man I'd known all my life, you know, and immediately after his funeral, getting COVID-19, and you know, I didn't get tested for that at that time, but I knew that was it, because I lost my sense of smell. I remember I would feel my body, my spirit trying to leave my body. It was terrible. And at that time, I started walking. After that, I got better. I started walking, just walking around the neighborhood. 1 kilometer, 300 meters, 1 kilometer. People may laugh and say, 1 kilometer. You feel huge if you see my pictures on Facebook. And those who knew me, how big I was, it was a feat to be able to walk, because we are very sedentary people. You get in your car, jump out of the car, come into the studio like this, jump in your car, pass through wherever you want to pass through, get a fast food takeaway, because we're always on the go. Right. Gorge on bad food, glucose-driven food and sugar-driven food and all this stuff. And we have bad sleeping habits, bad eating habits, and that was me. And so 2020 really was the year that I decided to start doing something about my health. But the key turning point came in the year 2022 when I had a conversation with Pastor Tazaru Mtungwazi from Celebration Church, who was also a partner in crime in the area of food. And I saw him during the pandemic online. It's 2021, and I almost said, that looks like Tazaru's brother. It was him he had lost weight. And so I got on a program then in beginning of 2022 called Aruka, which was a specially managed program for losing weight, where you would eat certain portions, certain calories, and then watch all your macros, your calories, and walk and exercise, and you get supplements and stuff like that. And within the 6 months of doing that program, I think I lost like 38 kgs. Yeah. The first 4 months of that, I lost like 38 kgs. I did away with most carbs, did away with, processed foods at that time, and so that was the turning point. Then I started going to Invictus Fitness Center, the gym that I'm part of. That helped me a lot. A friend of mine, Mbonisi Chuma and Kingston Musani, started helping me with that process. We started working on my reality show, and they helped me with the process of just getting into that sort of mode. And I've been on that journey ever since.
Are there days when you wake up and you don't want to do it?
Yeah, but you have to speak to your spirit. I read a book earlier on this year by James Clear called Atomic Habits. Talks about the 4 W's and the H. If you don't decide when, where, what, why, and how, you will not get anything done. Those are the laws of managing process and managing change. And so if you don't decide when, where, what, why, and how, you won't get anything done. A lot of people have got big dreams. So in terms of just getting out of bed, I have to do it because I want to reach 60, and I'm 90 kgs, 80 kgs. Right now I'm about 120. I was 193 kgs. Wow. I lost a whole person.
Wow.
Right. I could not breathe. My blood pressure was off the roof, off the charts. Yesterday I measured my blood pressure. It was 136/82. I used to play around the Tambira blood pressure. My blood pressure used to be range around 152/101.
That's a heart attack.
Yeah. It used to range around 146/95. But 136 is pretty normal. Yeah. My key is to try and get it down to 128, 70, thereabouts.
And what have been the biggest lessons and learnings that you'd want to teach some people out there, especially on this journey that you just started? Because I think it's such a remarkable journey. And I think a lot, I always laugh, when we talk with my Indos, that it's funny how as Africans we love to eat. We eat a lot of starch, and we eat a lot of meat, we eat a lot of
And
starch.
we're encouraged to finish all the food on the plate, and that's from
Exactly.
childhood.
And exactly. And then when we are getting and okay, now things have changed slightly, but I remember getting married and having my bridal shower, and the first thing that you're being taught is you must, cook for your husband, make sure he eats a lot of food. Da, 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 da. I mean, I remember my kids looking at our wedding photo and they're saying, "Is this daddy? You look so different." And then my husband said, "It's your mom's fault." But I think that what are the lessons? Because I think those are very important lessons that just need to go out there so people just start implementing.
I think number one lesson is that you will never overcome that which you don't confront. You will never overcome what you want to overcome if you don't confront it. That's a principle that goes beyond weight loss. That goes to marriage. That goes to toxic relationship. That pervades, I think, a whole plethora of things. Is the fact that you never overcome that which you don't confront. And I think my first lesson was to admit that, yes, I am obese. I'm morbidly obese. I had to admit that to myself. Ndakafuta. I used to make excuses. Hey, our family, they're big boned. Hey, look at my mother's side. Kafuta, all of them are fat. Hey, it's in the DNA, it's in the blood. And we make all sorts of excuses. In the words of Coach Tafadzo Mkoi, you come to a point where you need to exit your excuses. And excuses are different from reason. Yeah? Excuses are really just, crutches at the end of the day. Be it a business you want to start, you'll never overcome that unless you confront it and say, okay, this is what I want to do. This is my plan. So I'm going to do it. There has to be a process to everything. So number one lesson is confront something for you to overcome it. I think the second lesson for me was discipline. Develop a system. Everything that has been achieved in life, everything follows a system. Yeah, it has to be systemic. We have to have a systemic framework, whatever we want to do. Yeah, very few things happen because they just happen. Nothing. There's no happenstance to success. There has to have been a system of things you were doing. And if you're doing one system for a long time and you're not being successful, maybe you change the system for you to become successful. Systemic reading, systemic access to exposure, information. Creativity itself has a system. Yeah? So having discipline, being able to be disciplined, and discipline is not something that you achieve overnight. I remember when I started going to the gym, I used to do 5 kgs dumbbells, and these mamonias would look at me and say, "Are you doing well, Pastor G?" And then they would also, I'm sure in their spirits, they'll be saying, sweet. Then I on Sunday, I went to the gym just before church at about 6 a.m. And I was doing the 17.5 dumbbell.
17.5?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was doing chest press, not
yeah.
This, I think I'm still about 12.5s. But when I started, I was doing 5 kgs those. Yeah. So discipline is exactly that. You get in the gym, you move from one system where you're doing 5 kgs, you graduate 3-4 weeks later, you're doing 7.5. And it's a process. But you have to do something over. It's a routine. Very few things in life are supernovas that just happen because the universe converged. And in essence, your universe will converge because you were doing things that were moving you in that direction. And so, someone says success is preparation meeting opportunity. Yeah? When we prepare. You're reading books, you are You are researching. Nyenge is watching Oprah. She's watching different talk show hosts, Maishi Samba. She's watching different catalysts, change catalysts within the women's space or even beyond, business catalysts. She's got such, but it took preparation. And even the things that happened to us prepared us, car accidents, loss of loved ones, frustrations with, people double crossing you and leaving you for dead financially, that sort of thing. All those things are preparation. So, system, yeah. So I think that's then I think then the third critical thing is you've got to see it before you be it. Having a clear vision. What is vision? Vision is a mental picture of a preferred future. You can't be it if you can't see it. You can't be it if you can't see it. You have to see it. You have to have a mental picture of where you want to be. Then the fourth thing, have a strategy. Yeah? Have a strategy. Yeah? So system strategy, have a strategy. Yeah? And what is your strategy? Set daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, yearly goals. Yeah? Build a team around you. Build systems around you that will enable you for you to get there. Get a degree, do a course, get something that will give you the tools for what you need to do. Network with people who are like-minded in terms of where you want to go. Yeah? Yeah. Those are the key lessons. For me to lose weight, I had to see it. Yeah? So now I'm looking at being able to walk into it. That I used to get shirts made. This is one of the first shirts I bought in the shop.
Oh, wow.
Yeah?
Wow.
After I lost weight, because I used to get most of my clothes made.
And the feeling, how did you feel when you first saw a difference in how you were looking? What was the internal feeling?
I mean, I can do this. For years you tell yourself, I can't do this. For years you tell yourself, I can't achieve this. Because you see people who have started the journey of weight loss who've ballooned back. And it's a journey. There are times when you binge eat. I'm telling you, there are times when I binge eat. Yeah? I used to drink 4 liters of Coca-Cola daily.
4 liters? Wow.
There's a point in my life, for years I did that. 2 to 4 liters daily. Imagine the amount of sugar. Yeah? So it's a journey at the end of the day.
And how has been the support within the family? Obviously now you have to change eating styles. Has everybody changed? Or it's just you?
I think when you've done it for like 2 years, where you've been eating clean for 2 years, you then begin to, you can easily slip back into some of your old, but it's because it's now a system in you, you start saying, no, I can't eat this. Then if you eat this, then I can't eat this then. I do intermittent fasting where I try and do 1 meal a day for at least 5 days in the week. Then the weekend I eat whatever I want to eat, in moderation as much as I can. I love the sweet things. I love donuts. Oh my, those donuts from this other shop by
5 Avenue.
By 5 Avenue.
Yeah.
And from Highland Park.
I'm
I'm forgetting the name of the shop where they've got these donuts with the gooey center. My God.
Oh yes, I know the place.
Cottage Bites.
Yes, Cottage Bites. Yes.
And their pies and stuff like that. And that's my kind of stuff. I love that. I love cakes, pies, but I can't do that every day. I can't. The old me would be all day, man. Bring it on. Stuff my face. Eat whatever I wanted, when I wanted, how I wanted. Mountains of salsa. Yeah.
Mountains. I like that. Mountains will start.
But now, the journey now with home, the support has been phenomenal. My wife has been supportive. My kids have been supportive. When people see the difference, I used to snore at night. And then the rush course charge, I go net.
What's that?
She's a gear. I'm gear 3. I'm 5. I'm 6. I'm reversing. So I had to. So when I lost the snoring stopped, I used to have sleep apnea, where in the middle of the night I'll stop breathing, and my wife would shake me, or I'd be gasping for air. If we were talking right now, I'd be going. You'd hear it through the microphone. Because I was carrying so much weight around my heart. Now I breathe. Yesterday I went to the gym twice. Wow. In the morning I went for 45 minutes. In the evening I decided went back, did another 45 minutes. Wow. Yeah. And so for me, I never thought I'd get fit. And some of it has to do with society.
Yeah.
Because at high school, the whole issue of bullying in high school, people would call you fat, and you're not even that fat, really. So in your mind, it's stuck with you. Then also just cultural upbringing. We grew up idolizing fast food, the McDonald's of this world, and all the fast food. I mean, we used to watch Happy Days, and Happy Days used to center around this burger place. And so we thought burgers, chips, Coke, and
was the lifestyle.
And sodas was the lifestyle. How they would watch Americans say, we had great enough pizza. And when Pizza Inn came in the year 1995, 96.
I remember I was at Ghost College, I was in high school, and oh my God, I know, even Chicken Inn.
When Chicken Inn came in the year 1987, I remember I sold my bicycle, a Rebel. It had an accident. Then, we went and spent the money at Chicken Inn with our friends. And then it's tasted like the real stuff. I don't know now, but I'm sure it is still. I remember, how we grew up idolizing fried chicken, all this stuff, KFC, you name it, all these brands, and we, now and then I have a nice piece of KFC.
It's nice. Like, I love their wings. Like, once in a while.
The hot wings are just.
Yeah, I love the hot wings. Are my favorite.
Yeah.
Once in a while, you go, you know. Yeah. So I get that. So now, how has that, in terms of your singing now? You were saying when you were talking before, you really struggled to breathe. I'm even shocked when you say that, because I'm saying, how are you singing? Because we were just hearing this beautiful voice.
Singing was a whole different thing. But standing on the stage, I would not stand I would stand and sit down at some point, then stand up again because my leg would get numb. I think about 2 months ago, I did like an all-night worship event in Blue. I was on stage for 4 hours. Of course, I sat down in between at some point, but I was on stage for like the whole night from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. till about 4 a.m. in the morning. On and off. In fact, it's more than 4 hours, about 5 hours. 6 hours. And I couldn't do that in the past.
In the past. I had a question. There's someone actually who had sent me, and they said, if we ever get Pastor G on, I would want you to ask him, since he sings so much, does he even pray? Does he even need to pray?
I need to pray. You need to pray. Every Christian needs to pray. And for me, prayer is everything. Because you can make a good song and make it popular because you've got the money to do it. So you do a plethora of music videos, and you can do a plethora of shows, and people, yes, will get by to the hype, but nothing will ever substitute music that moves the heart to a place of destiny. Nothing can take the place of that music. Music that lifts a soul from committing suicide. Music. So for me, I have to pray because that music is that important, because music speaks where no sermon can speak. Music speaks where no person can convince you. Music can navigate the recesses of the heart and connect with one's spirit. You know, have you ever found yourself singing music of people that you never? How many songs do we sing from Joyous Celebration yet we don't understand the music?
I know.
How many people in Brazil are standing up, lifting up their hands to take Shua's music? They don't even understand the word. You know, and so we have to pray. I have to pray as an artist. I try and spend time in prayer as much as I can. Every day, in the morning, in the evening. Do half nights of prayer, fasting, and prayer. You know, because this ministry of music means that much to me, so that God can communicate his heart, not my heart, to people. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that is, for me, that's a huge impact in terms of, if you're saying that you pray so much. You would think, like I was saying, that person was saying to me, you would think that because you sing so much and you don't need to then pray. But now when you got into singing, were you the first one in your family to get into singing? Were you the first one to become a pastor?
Yeah, I was the first one in our family, in my family, in my dad and mom's kids. I was the first one. I was the first one to become a pastor. I was the first one to record music. My older brother was a lead guitar player. He played with Don Gumbo and them for some time. At some point, was a phenomenal musician.
So when in terms of preparation, when you talk about that you pray, you prepare. When you're preparing, let's say to go on a show, how do you prepare? What's the day in the life of a show when you're about to go for a show with Pastor G?
If I'm doing like my own event, spend by like 6, 7, 8 weeks at the minimum of intense rehearsals, 3 times a week, 6 weeks before the event. The week of the event is most likely every day for 2 to 3 hours, 4 hours. When I don't have an event at hand, I try and rehearse at least once a week.
No.
Yeah. Now I'm beginning to prepare for the December shows. I've got a show with Tembalami, 7 hours on the 16th of December. I'm with Janet on the 1st of January, that are not at the HICC. So with those 2 concerts, I have to prepare. Yeah.
Wow. Jeez, we could go on. I still have so many questions I want to ask you. I know our time is up. So I'm going to ask you just a few fun questions before we go off. What's your favorite color and why?
Favorite color? Oof. I go with tan, brown. Yeah. Yeah, those are my favorite colors. Maybe a bit of white, yeah.
Why though?
Beige, brown, tan. I like the rare color. Yeah.
Okay. And your favorite animal and why?
The lion. I think it's an interesting creature, Fumba, in the sense that it's just the balance that it has in terms of strength and its hunting ability. Yeah.
That's a very interesting one. And then, what are you reading right now?
What am I reading right now? I'm still reading James Clear, Atomic Habits. I just did part of it a bit earlier on in the year. Still to finish it. I need to finish it and move on to another book. I'm trying to get the 5 a.m. crowd.
Oh yeah, that's a Robin Sharma. That's a brilliant book. Yeah, it's a brilliant book. Wow. And then we're packing our bags. We're going to the airport. Where are we flying off to?
We're flying off to anywhere. Kenya, Nairobi.
You love Kenya, Nairobi.
I love Nairobi. Yeah, Kenya.
What's the vibe? Why do you love Kenya?
Nairobi. Maybe because the time when Zimbabwe was in was facing a lot of challenges around the
2008
2006, 2007.
Yeah.
I went to Nairobi a lot and became a breath of fresh air. I remember walking into a shop and wanting to buy all the bread on the shelf. And
I remember carrying bread from Dubai.
And people looking at me funny. And I remember us driving to a petrol station and then ask, is there petrol? And they say, yeah, Of course, there is petrol here because it's a petrol station. Why should there not be petrol?
Petrol, yeah.
People do not understand our trauma. We're coming from a traumatized place where there was no fuel, there was no food, there was no rice. I remember coming from Nairobi, and my suitcase was full of rice.
Rice.
That Kenyan rice.
Imagine,
So Nairobi will be the place to fly to. And ideally, if things align, Hawaii with my beautiful wife.
Oh, wow.
A nice place to go.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. I want to ask you one more question. Your cap. I always see your cap. What is this about I love caps. I'm a cap person. What is this about cap? You and caps.
Me and caps. Caps, I'm a very casual person. I hardly wear a suit, but someone from Facebook just saw a post about me losing weight and said, I thought you would need new clothes. And I don't know, a random stranger phoned me, come and collect something from, they gave me a suit. So, but suits are way if I'm preaching and if I'm going for a formal event. But with caps are disarming, number one. Number two, they give you confidence. You're able to hide under the cap. And I just like caps. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So, thank you. This has been so insightful and so much fun. And I need to bring you back because I still have so many questions that I want to ask. But I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for taking time out. The lessons that I've learned today. I didn't even know it took so much to just the music.
Yeah.
Just understanding what goes behind the songs.
Yeah.
And I want to ask for a big favor before we go. It's just one line from Indestructible to close us out of the show today.
Well, I'm speaking to my mountain, and my mountain will move. I'm taking no prisoners. My victory is sure. Well, I'm running to my destiny. I know I'm on track. My faith is my anchor. There's no turning back, 'cause I know with you. And I will overcome. This one thing is true. Because of what you've done, I'm indestructible. I'm indestructible. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much. So to our viewers, please be indestructible as you go out this coming week. Thank you so much for watching. Have a pleasant week. Hi, everyone. You've been watching Moments with Nyengeterai. Please remember to subscribe and to turn on your notifications and to just follow me on all my social media platforms. Thank you.